Interface. A point where two things meet and interact with one another. An interface. The world is our interface. We are in an era where most things around us have an interface, including watches, cars, televisions, and cameras. Human interaction with technology and the environment has been grouped by Danielle Reed, a user interface designer, into 4 ages of time: the age of tools, the age of the machine, the age of software, and the age of self. The age of tools. We use primitive objects and symbols to communicate. Communication, even in the early days, did not only involve face-to-face interactions or body language, but also objects and symbols to paint a story to and for others. Consider cavemen and women in hieroglyphics. Initially, symbols were carved into any surface to communicate with others in the present and or the future. Quickly, these carvings became stories, a form of art, or historical documentation. The tools we use today may be different to the stone used to carve, but our communication has come back to the idiom of a picture speaks 1,000 words. Similar to hieroglyphics, this is the era of the emoji. With new releases and updates frequently, symbols or pictures that speak 1,000 words are symbolized through the emoji. Why say I love you when you can send heart-shaped eyes? Why explain your excitement for the end of term when you could use the party emoji? We've even gotten to the point where emojis are utilized in an attempt to express full sentences. I'm excited and I'm going to celebrate tonight with drinks and then I want to have a sleep. This is all for the ease of the user and a reduction of time. The age of the machine, when hardware was the interface. The development of hardware focused on an increased productivity by increasing time affordances to do other activities. This began with the typewriter in 1868. The typewriter was invented to reduce time spent handwriting and increase the consistency across formatting. However, the reduced handwriting time came at a cost of learning how to typewrite, how to actually use and interact with the interface. Today is the same. There are many new interfaces being developed to ease with use, convenience, and use of time to complete tasks. Each of the new interfaces requires time to learn the ropes of how to use them effectively and efficiently. The age of software. Learned skills from using hardware become metaphors to teach us how to use software. Designers of softwares continue to utilize old hardware to develop new interfaces that people can use to transfer over to, such as Microsoft and Google products, or iPhones and iPods. Having similar software and hardware to new software and hardware makes it easier for people to transfer into the new software or hardware. 100% software. So we started with 100% hardware with typewriters, then we moved to 50% software, 50% hardware with things like laptops, and now we have full interface software such as iPhones. The shift to 100% software is related to the intuitive behavior of touch, something we began to communicate with, which is why my cousin who is a toddler can manipulate an iPad faster than my poppy can, because we were born to explore with our fingers. Touch, though, came at a price, a beautiful appearance but sometimes difficult to interact with, as many features in an interface are actually hidden. But designers are considering the ease of use of apps to maintain commonalities. All of these things have the same thing, you swipe. But now, of course, there are many interactions and gestures with software. It is difficult to keep up, finding something new every day, such as dozens of fingertip movements on a trackpad that can manipulate the interface. The age of the self. The old metaphor comes full circle, the next iteration. We've gone back to square one, using simple tools and a surface like cavemen and women once were. In 2010, Steve Jobs questioned who would want a stylus, pointing out that there was a difficulty using a narrow pen on a complex screen. He believed that we weren't ready for it, but now, 6 years later, we are ready for the completion of the circle. Consider the popularity of stylus pens and the more recent Apple Pencil. We've gone back to the skill of writing on an interface that determines pressure to engineer the appropriate screen face where two things have become popular: pencils and touch. We're now to the point where technology has become so advanced and embedded in our lives, we are unlearning how to use it. So, when will this circle start again?